Excellent. Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Thanks again for joining us, listening on the radio, on your podcast. If you're watching me live here on YouTube or Facebook, we certainly appreciate you guys. Thank you very, very much. Make sure you check out all the good stuff we got going on here at the Texas Real Estate Investment Center at mrtxre.com. All right, first, before we get into property management and asset management, all that good stuff, let me explain something to you. Your house, depending on when it is built, is going to have anywhere between a 13 and a 20, sometimes even 25 degree differential between the outside and the inside of the house. And this has got so many factors involved. There is engineering software programs where you input all this data, and you can really dig down, like the type of the woods, the framing. Is it 2x4s? Is it 2x6 framing? You know, all the way down. But just know that if your house was built prior to, say 76, you have about a 10-degree difference between the outside and the inside on average. And then if your house was built before 96 to 78 in that range, you're probably at about 13 degrees. And if your house was built post 96, this is when all these new upgrades up to the code got in, you're probably about 20. You kind of always walk in your house feeling it's comfortable, right? Now, why do I bring this up? Well, we have had some really hot days here in Texas, like breaking all kinds of records. And here's what I'm getting from all fronts, including my own home, which was built in the 80s. Now, it's a nice construction. I got cathedral ceiling, so it's going to help dissipate some of the heat. But there have been, I think I was home on Sunday and partial on Saturday doing some work. And I came out to my living room, and it was hot. And my thermostat was set to 76. And the air conditioner was not keeping up in my house. But it was also 105 degrees. So let's say at best I have a 15, maybe 8, because I got a lot of shade, so 18-degree differential. Okay? So I'm at 95 minus 8. I'm going to be at 87 degrees. Like the house in normal condition would be around 87 and 90 degrees if I wasn't running my air conditioner. And I like to keep my air conditioner around 75. So I'm at 87. On my first floor, I have about 1,800 square feet, and I have a 4-ton unit, which is about right. 400 square foot per ton, 500 square foot per ton. So I'm right-sized, and that 4-ton is not keeping up. There's nothing wrong with it. My filters are clean. It's charged. It's been tuned up. It's just hot. I have a 3-ton upstairs, which I don't even use for like 1,200 square feet or so, or 13 up there. And we don't even turn it on. And that's part of our problem is we're not cooling all areas of the house. So heat is gathering at the top of the house, and I'm getting a little stack effect. And anyway, my 4-ton is not keeping up. And there were many days in this last month where it was not as pleasant in my house as it normally is. So then what happens is I get phone calls. I get a phone call from one of my property managers. Says, hey, the air conditioner's busted. I'm like, okay. How do we know it's busted? It's like, it's not blowing cold. It's really hot in the house. I was like, is it not blowing cold or is it hot in the house? The answer comes back from the property managers, I don't know. So we send our AC guy out there, and he's a master. He's got a master's license. And he's like, nothing wrong with the house, nothing wrong with the AC, just hot in the house. I'm like, okay. And he's like, hey, man, so this house was built in the 50s. This is post-war construction. and I have an issue. I have a 3-foot at best peak in the attic. So there's barely any insulation. Just call it no insulation. And I don't have enough venting up there. I don't have enough soffit vents and gable vents. But there is a ridgeline vent on there. But I'm like, okay, well, let me just add a little more airflow to the house. I got to soffit over the porch. I can put in a nice little 24 by 36 inch vent, which will push some air through and pull it through and get some things going. Well, we go out there and we try to do our best and get another complaint next week. Hey, it's air conditioner still not working. And I'm like, okay, listen, it's not the air conditioner. It's the house that's not working. He's like, well, I got a quote from an AC guy. He'll go out there and put a 4-ton on it. I'm like, a 4-ton for 1,200 square feet is just overkill. I was like, he's right. It'll probably get it cool, but it's going to put a lot of wear and tear on that machine. It's the house. So then I send my guy back out there. I'm like, hey, just check. Like some of the little checklist in my mind, because I ran an HVAC company in my lifetime. I owned one and I ran one, and I've done a lot of air conditioning retrofits on commercial buildings and houses, so I'm pretty well versed. Guy says, yeah, there's a little leak in the ducts. I'm going to go ahead and tighten up some of the ducts. Okay, so that's your first culprit. Tighten the ducts. Most ducts leak. So in the attic, basically we're cooling the attic and not the house. We've got to seal the ducts. And then what you want to do is you just want to seal any penetrations between the house into the attic where the cool air is escaping or the heat is coming in. Hot goes to cold, right? Thermodynamics, it's a law. Hot always goes to cold. Wet always goes to dry. So we do our best, and we spent, 2 days on it, and it's still hot. And I get it. At one point, it hit 107 degrees. I'm like, listen, it's the house. It's not the AC. What you want me to do is rip off the roof, build a 4-foot peak on it, blow insulation in it, seal all the ducts, bury the ducts underneath the insulation. You're asking me to do $25,000 worth of work. It's hot. The quick solution, and a lot of people, you'll see this, and so you understand when you're driving by some of these old homes, and sometimes you'll walk them, you'll see central air there, but you'll also see a window unit. That's how people are cooling down in some of these older houses. We get back, I'm going to review all the numbers for you so you understand this, because if you're a landlord right now, there's no doubt you're getting these phone calls. This is Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate, and this is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Guys, check out our 3-day real estate education event, right? It's called Complete Real Estate Education. It teaches you the fundamentals so that you can use the reality of real estate, not your hopes and dreams and gut feelings, but you can actually go down and look at numbers, look at market trends, and make some really smart decisions on your portfolio moving forward. You're going to go to Complete Real Estate Investing. It's MRTXREI, add the I on there.com. Whopping $97, MRTXREI.com. We'll see you there. Hey, welcome back, everyone. Robert here with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Guys, you can find us on the web at MRTXRE.com. MR is in Mr. TX is in Texas. RE is in realestate.com. Check us out. Anyway, we're talking about heat and air conditioners and houses, right? So I know I'm not the only one. I know there's lots of landlords in the areas that I rent in, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do a $20,000 roof and attic and insulation retrofit. They're just not going to do it. But hey, man, go buy a window air conditioner. It's $250. So I sit and I talk to everyone. I talk to building inspectors. Everyone. I'm like, this air conditioner has a delta T of, at best, in the best case scenario, 23 degrees. What does that mean? That means that the air conditioner can cool down 23 degrees to 74 degrees. That's it. So 74 and 23 is 97 degrees. In the best case scenario, that unit can cool a house from 97 degrees to 74 degrees, and it doesn't do much better. When you start going below room temperature on your air conditioner, you're working it harder. It's not going to get the full delta 23 or the difference of 23. Now, in the worst case scenario, it's probably 10 degrees. Even running, filters cleaned, fully charged, 10, maybe 12 degrees. And that's what's happening in a lot of these old houses. A lot of you guys go out, all you hipsters, you're buying these $1 million houses in the Heights that are built in 1927, and you're like, wow, it's really hot in this house. I don't understand, right? And, well, you bought a $1 million house in the Heights. You can afford a 5-ton system, right? So you throw in a 5-ton, maybe a dual 5-ton. So you've got 10 tons of cooling in a 2,000 square foot house. It's like an icebox. Of course, 60% of that cooling is just going out through the windows and through the cracks. But, hey, man, you got money. That's fine. The people who don't have money, who are sweltering in some of these hot boxes, we're like, hey, we got to get some window units. That's the fix. But I have to train the property managers. I have to train some of the asset managers. I'm like, it's not the air conditioner, it's the house. The air conditioner is less than 2 years old. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, well, it's not cooling. Yeah, it's not cooling because it's the house. So the quick fix is go buy a $250 window air conditioner, throw it in the window, and on the really, really hot days, run it. The hard fix is blow off the roof, add a 4-foot peak to it, blow insulation in there, because you need about 4 feet if you want to get 8. Actually, you probably need 6 foot if you want to get like R50 up in the attic. And you're going to have to build baffles and dams, and it's just basically, you might as well put a second floor on the house if you're going to do that. And so I'm trying to explain to the people, I was like, that's what you're asking me to do. That's the fix to the house. Is there short-term fixes? Yes. Tighten up the ducts. Seal some of the penetrations. Move on and just buy them a new air conditioner for the window on the hot, hot days. I've been in Houston for a while now, on my 5th year, and it clearly has been the hottest summer that I've faced. And I'm hearing it from a lot of old timers. Hey, this is like the 3rd hottest summer on record for me, and blah, blah, blah. Right? So, normally your air conditioner could keep up. All right, I'm going to get off of air conditioning, but I want to get into property management and asset management and why this air conditioning example is so important. But the last little caveat I'll tell you is, hey, guys, if you're a guy and you like it cold when you sleep, here's a little secret for you. Here's an energy saver. There's something out there called a mini split. And you can buy a 3/4 ton mini split on 110 volts, meaning you don't need to run a special electric conduit back to the breaker. You could just run it into an outlet in your bedroom. It's just like a window air conditioner. It plugs right in. But it's much, much more efficient. So if that's what I do, and that's how we're setting up Jason's house, right? So my house could be 78 degrees when I'm coming home and it's not really cooling down, but when I get into my bedroom and I close all the doors, the thing cranks down like 68 degrees. So anyway, there's your solution to that. But let's get into it. So the property manager is calling about all these things, and I'm like, okay, hey, we got to figure this stuff out. And what I've learned over the time here is that a lot of these property managers, and we've got a great property manager, very, very good. I mean, I always look at, hey, there's like 3 areas of property management, right? Can they find the right tenant? It's always really, really important. 2, can they manage the tenant and make sure that they're filling out and going all, paying on time and following the lease and, not having 6 cats in there. We have a no pet policy. And then the third thing is, can they maintain the property? And we always look at the third part, the last part being the most important. Can they maintain the value of my property? We've talked about it several times in the last few weeks. Hey, man, I don't need an extra $75 a month for my house. It's not important to me right now. Now, when I retire and I do some free and clear real estate here, yeah, all that cash is going to be important. But right now, I just want to carry the debt and maintain the value of the property. So for the extra $1,000 a year I may make by squeezing someone or trying to get the right rent or not doing the repairs, I'd rather take that $1,000 and put it into painting the trim, making sure the doors are painted, fixing any broken block, that type of thing, right? Anyway, the property managers are great, but what I've learned is that most property managers do not have a construction background like myself. And I totally get it. Why would you expect them to? But the people that they're calling, and this is the difference between my guys and perhaps your guys, is the people that they're calling and they trust, the plumber, the AC guy, the carpenter, the handyman, right? That guy, you've got to really understand where that person's coming from and making sure you're checking the prices. We don't have Mosin and Trey on all our properties. So a lot of times I'll get like, hey, there was a nail sticking up on the floor and our guy came out there and he said $3,600 to fix it. I'm like, what? I'll get my guy out there. I'll take care of it in half a day. So that's this type of stuff, and that's where people complain a lot, like the nickel and diming. So, and I'll tell you, if you come to the Landlord Workshop, if you go to mrtxre.com, our website, go to the event page, we have a 4-part series called the Landlord Workshop, where you kind of understand and get sort of the fundamentals of being a landlord. Again, fundamentals are not beginner, they're not basic, they're fundamentals. Understand these things to make it more profitable, the systems, the things you put in the property, things you don't put in the property, how you manage it, what you're looking for, who you pick. All that stuff gets covered in the Landlord Workshop. So go to mrtxre.com, check it out. There's many, many other events. Really, really want to get you out here to the Texas Real Estate Investment Center. You're going to love it. Lots of good stuff going on. Hang tight, guys. We'll be back. Which one's this? Okay. Hey, guys. Welcome back. This is Robert with world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Guys, we have a 3-day event coming up every single month. You got to check it out. It's called Complete Real Estate Investing. And we're really going over the fundamentals. Now, listen, I'm going to tell you who this is. It's really good if you're new and you're just trying to figure some stuff out. But if you're sitting in a cubicle somewhere listening to this and you've got a job that pays you over 6 figures a year and a decent FICO, you've got to come to this class so you can understand how to start building out a real estate portfolio, how to diversify your investments, and really start preparing for retirement so that you could either retire early or retire extremely well. And that's what real estate can do to you, and we talk about that in that 3-day complete real estate investing. So again, if you're some energy company right now, or the medical center, or you're an entrepreneur, or you've got some other things going on, and you're thinking, hey, my 401k just is not going to cut it, then you want to come out to complete real estate investing so you can understand how to start building your portfolio. And everything we do here is to try and help people become real estate millionaires. And they can get 10 houses free and clear with a value of between $2 and $3 million, and throws off between $10,000 and $15,000 a month cash when you're ready to retire or when you're ready to retire early. So that's complete real estate investing. It's mrtxrei.com. All right, so we're talking about the property manager who's really good at finding the tenants and maintaining the property and making sure enforcing the rules of the lease. It's not just a sort of set it and forget it. And they're doing a good job. And that is hard enough. That is hard enough to find. And trust me, we're batting 1 out of 5 at this point. We're batting 200 when it comes to finding the right property manager. Now you start having your portfolio. And all of a sudden now, there are things beyond the property manager. Okay? Now, if you have investors, you're doing syndications, there's reporting requirements. So someone has got to stay on top of the bills and reports every month. The property manager gives you the reports, but someone's got to analyze the reports. So this becomes the asset manager. And that has been a default role for me here. Hey, why are we not making money? Hey, what was this $3,600 bill? Hey, why is this happening, right? Hey, I got a strict rule. Construction over 300 does not get auto improved. You've got to come to me. I have a construction company. We do millions of dollars in business. I'm pretty sure I can get stuff done as cheap, if not cheaper, than your guy. So someone's got to manage that. Look at all the reports. That's important. One of the jokes I say is if you're an entrepreneur and you start a business, whatever it is, or some sort of brick and mortar business, some sort of internet business, but if you're doing commerce and you're rolling some real money back and forth, you almost have to hire someone just to open the mail. Because you will get so many pieces of mail every month. And the problem is 98 of the 100 are just junk. I don't need a postage machine. I already have payroll. I don't need business insurance. I'm good, right? I don't need furniture at a discount. I'm not going to apply for this American Express card. All right, I'm all good. I don't need ADP. But the two things that come, that one little letter from the city or the one letter from the insurance company that says, hey, there's been a change. You've got 30 days to reply. If you're not staying on top of that stuff, man, it can get really bad really fast. God forbid, there's something in there from the IRS that says, hey, we've not seen your filing. You kind of blow it off. And you know you filed it. You paid for it. Everything's good. But all of a sudden, there's this little question. So if someone's not following up on these, and again, you'll get 100 pieces of mail a month, and 2 of them will be important. But it becomes so difficult to keep up with just the mail. You're trying to get customers. You're trying to grow your business. Understand it. Now, it's the same thing from an asset manager. The asset manager is not only just taking care of the value of the property and working with the property manager to make sure that it is running as efficiently as possible. That asset manager is also in charge of the insurance and the finance on it. Can I get a better note? Is it time to refi? Should I wait? Not refi, right? Do I have private lenders? Do I got to go back to the private lenders and extend notes? They're managing not just the day-to-day and then the insurance, the sort of month-to-month, but then they start understanding and have to manage the finance. And the bigger thing that asset manager does is manage the assets, meaning, hey, it might be time to sell, or it might be time to refi. And that's something they should be looking at, I wouldn't say on a monthly basis, but certainly every 90 days, or when there's some sort of triggered event like, hey, Fed's going to raise interest rates 100 pips, right? So, hey, okay, let's take a look and see where I'm at with my loans and all this other stuff. So you have this asset management who's just sort of, and I hate using, Jason hates this too, but it's kind of the old adage, the asset manager works on the business and the property manager works in the business. And this is why I tell people, hey, if you just get 15 properties, 30 doors, free and clear, 15 properties worth $250,000 each, right? And you're sitting on $3.5 million worth of properties, and at the very least, that should throw off, $300,000 a year. But if you want to property manage it yourself, I wouldn't, but you certainly need to asset manage it yourself. You can't really outsource that. So that becomes your retirement job. So when I hear people say, I want 100 doors, I want 1,000 doors, I'm like, okay. And we know a really good guy, and we talked about him we don't say his name, but he's a good guy. He's out in the Waco area, and he's going up to 200 doors. And he's property managing them very, very well. He's got a property management company. He's one of those classic guys, right? Broker, starts buying his own properties, starts his own property management company. Next thing you know, he's managing 200 doors on 150 properties. Everything's going great. He's got a good management team together. That's awesome. But if you're still in growth mode, you're ignoring the asset part of your holdings. Like, he's managing the cash flow and the expenses in a day-to-day. Great, good. We've got a good management company. We own part of that business. Excellent. But now you got to get into the asset side of it. When do I refi? When do I sell? When do I buy more? Do I pull money out to buy another property, or do I pull money out, to pay off this one over here? Do I sell this one? There's a whole bunch of things that goes on. There are 2 levels of this. And as much as Jason hates it, the easiest way to describe it is the property manager works in the business on the day-to-day, and the asset manager works on the business, managing the assets and maximizing profit and maximizing your asset values. Now, the problem is that most people aren't even going to think about that until they get to about 20, 25 doors. But then it happens. Then it becomes a lot. Wow, I got to run up against a break here. Hey, this is Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We certainly appreciate you guys checking us out. Hey, we do a lot of passive investing. If you're a passive investor, we have a fund. We do some other stuff. So we'd love to have you together. Check it out. Go to text the word passive to 281-401-9008. Passive, for all the passive lending opportunities that we have, 281-401-9008. Again, text the word passive to 281-401-9008. Hey, hang tight. We'll be back. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. All right, so we're talking about property management versus asset management. We talked a little bit about air conditioning. All right. All this stuff is super important. Now, here's what I want you to understand. We say get 10 houses, which could be 10 properties and 15 doors, 16 doors, could be 20 doors, right? Could be all duplexes, whatever. And at that point, your property manager is going to be good. They can handle most of the problems that are coming up. The money's coming in, and you're all good. When you start pushing out to like 15 properties, 20 properties, or maybe you're a general partner on 2 or 3 different syndications, and they're small, and your buddies and friends and peers got together and did some of the stuff, and that actually happens out there. Maybe it's a tenant in common sort of world or limited partnerships through LLCs, whatever it is. Once you get beyond that 10, which is why we say it's 10 houses, right? You got to get 10 houses. Then all of a sudden there's another layer of understanding and management and education and proficiency that you have to be able to do. I don't see a lot of outside asset management companies for the landlord with 20 to 100 doors. You're kind of stuck in that. And that becomes your role. And the problem is, if you ignore it for a long time, and you're not opening up those letters, because the property manager is not opening the letter from the IRS, if you're not opening up those letters, now you're in trouble. Now you got to go deep. You got to spend a lot of time on that. We have a couple of people in our mastermind that I can clearly see that's what's going on. They're like, man, I don't know. I think I should sell. Or, hey, man, I had this whole vision of me and my family doing all this stuff, and I spent a lot of time on this stuff. I'm like, yeah, you're not property managing, you're asset managing. Big difference. In our world, an asset manager is typically associated with a private fund, a hedge fund, things like that, or large REITs and real estate conglomerates. There's great videos out there from there's Commercial Real Estate Institute. I think that's it. I don't know. But if you just Google the role of the asset manager, you'll see how distinctly different they are from the property manager. And how most of us sort of amateur or, local mom and pop landlords aren't running that part of the business like a business. Again, we've had lots of people in our mastermind with lots and lots of properties, and they're always talking about property management. And for once in a while, they sort of drift over and they're trying to understand what's going on. Like, hey, I'm not maximizing this. I'm like, yeah, I get it. It's because you're not asset managing it. You've got a good handle on the property management, and you think you got these things figured out, but you got to work over on this side. Like just tax challenges, right? It's Texas, we could challenge our taxes. So imagine someone like Jason and I have got 300 properties. Someone's got him organized to go ahead and challenge all those properties. Now, you got 25, you got 30. Hey, I'm going for 100. Rob, I want 100 single-family houses. Great. It's excellent. But there's a whole bunch of extra work that comes along with it that's not property management. and that no one on stage ever tells you. And no one is going to give you 2 claps, you want to be an asset manager, right? That's not happening. This is this type of fundamental stuff that we deal with in our mastermind. Because we have every intention of having people being able to buy 10, 15 houses, going beyond it, right, in their 5 to 7 year journey with us. So we have to start talking about it. I'll tell you one of the things we're doing. I don't have a better title for it, but we're just using the word Wealth Day. I don't know what to call it. It's like twice a year we meet on Wealth Day as a mastermind. And this year this quarter, we're talking about stay, refi, or sell, right? Like Oprah, Barbara Walters, Hillary Clinton. Stay, refi, or sell. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so, okay, that's what we're going to do. And that's going to start looking at your assets. And you have to make those decisions and understand some of the fundamentals about that. When I sit here and think about this stuff, and me and Jason are having these conversations at this level, we just know that we're offering something that other people aren't. This is, again, no one's talking about this. It's always find a property manager. Go find a property manager. Yeah, I get it, but hey, man, there's a whole thing over here called asset management. And the reason why you're not talking about it is because most times those people aren't doing it. So for our mastermind, we started talking to these guys about a year ago about the asset management part of it. It's beyond the property manager. Again, I'll use the analogy only because I know Jason hates it so much. The property manager works in the business. The asset manager works on the business. And there are large syndications out there that don't have asset managers attached, right? It's all sort of hodgepodge. This person over here doing insurance, this person doing this person doing taxes, all right? And there needs to be those points of contact. And for the most part, it's defaulted to me and Jason in doing this stuff, but we're in the process of hiring that person. Like a full-time, high-end, like we want, MBA, understand this stuff, get in, get down and dirty. It's not just a desk job. I would say that your asset manager better have a pickup truck because when the hurricane comes through, he better go down there and start zipping in some plywood at the beach. Right? Jason's sitting on like $1.2 million worth of asset 15 feet from the water. Someone better go protect it. It's that type of thing we're talking about. And it becomes an ad hoc to you guys because you're not really understanding the role of that. But when you work with us, you come to Complete Real Estate Investing, you work in our mastermind, you have a real good understanding of the difference between property management and asset management. So, how much time do I have left? A little over 2 minutes. 2 minutes. I don't have anything else to talk about that. We're doing big things here with our folks. I'm so very happy with the progress that people are making. Boy, we just picked up another cute little Airbnb for like $155. It's not the greatest location, but there'll be money to be made there. What else did we just pick up? Picked up a single family, a 4-2. Picked up a big game hunting, right? We're going to find it, rehab it, right? It's a piece of junk. We got to rehab it. Got to renovate it. Got to make sure we get the people in there, and then we can refi it out. Hopefully the refi will be a little bit lower, but we got like 4 of those going on, all with good numbers. And this is all the stuff we bring to the mastermind. So we're so really, really very happy that we're seeing everyone really participate and watching the growth of our folks. So, and then we have this super secret special project we're talking about on Saturday morning. So we'll be announcing that pretty quickly here too. Anyway, this is Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Guys, you got to come out to Complete Real Estate Investing, right? MRTXREI.com. It's a 3-day event. It's a whopping $97. I'm telling you, you're going to get a tremendous value out of it. Tremendous. No one has walked away saying, oh, this was a waste of time. Or, wow, for $97, I wish I should have been cheaper, right? No one has said that. It's just the opposite, right? I love the guys coming to us and said, hey, man, I spent $15,000 with this guru or $25,000 with this program, and I learned more in your 3 days than I did with a year with them. Like I'm going to say like 1 in 6, 1 in 7 people will say that to us. So if you want a tremendous amount of value on your education for $97, come out to Complete Real Estate Investing, MRTXREI.com. Thank you very much. I'm heading to Corpus Christi.